Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is these awesome little hot pads. Well, I shouldn't say it. They're not little at all. But these awesome little hot pads. They are, what's 7 3/4 inches wide. Now these three are, whereas this one and this one, the sunflower and this one, I accidentally left off around. And then this one I made out of 3-weight cotton thread and, number 3 cotton thread. And it's too little for a hot pad, so I thought about just adding a magnet to the back of it and making just a little refrigerator magnet. But anyway, so these are double thick hot pads. So we have 2 layers here, and we are going to slip stitch them together, but not each stitch. It's using this border, slip stitching them closed. So you're going to need any number of cotton yarn. So these are the 3 I use for this one that we're going to make in the tutorial. So for instance, this one is 3 different colors. So 1, 2, 3. This one is 3 different colors, white, light blue, and darker blue. But this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors. And this one is 1, 2, 3 different colors. And then I use a variegated, which, I'm a little disappointed because the variegated was like maybe that long of color changes. And I wanted it to be a little more choppy color change, but that's okay. But you can use any number of, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds. You could use 9 different colors on this. That would be crazy looking. I would like to see that. Or you could do like I just did on this little sunflower one. I just used the solid for the first 2 rounds, or the brown for the first 2 rounds, and then the yellow for 4 rounds, and then the green for the outer edge. So a couple things I do want to talk about. These do have a tiny bit of a warp to them, and the only reason that is because I haven't laid them underneath anything hot, but like this one does more than the bigger ones. So if you do, just dropping them like that, it comes right out of it. See, I don't know if you can see. Let me do that again. See, there's a little bit of the warp, but if I just drop it, see how it went flat? Anyway, but what I noticed is if you let it do that natural twist like this, and then if you were to attach another one at the bottom, look how pretty it is when it spins. I don't know. I thought that was cool. Anyway, once you put something hot on these, they are going to come right out of that. They won't have that warp anymore. So there's that. And then I also wanted to add that when we change colors, what I do is I slip stitch to the stitch, and I tell you this in the tutorial. I slip stitch to the next stitch, chain 1, pull it out, and then on certain rounds you attach right next to the front post, to the very left of the front post doubles, okay? So if you change colors, if you don't, then just slip stitch, chain 1, and go on. Always attach to the stitch to the left of your front post double, okay? And of course I just attach with a slip stitch and then chain 1. And one last thing I do want to mention, I am a super natural clumsy person. Always clumsy. I'm always covered in bruises, covered in cuts. And I do want to say that I have one here, and I have this little spot on the top of my finger that I tried to hide in the tutorial, and I don't think I did very well. So I want to apologize for that. And there is a part in the video where I don't have my Band-Aid on right here, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sure some of you will tell me how gross it is in the comments. But anyway, all right. Okay, so getting everything together. So get whatever color, however many colors of cotton yarn you want. And I used a 5mm crochet hook, pair of scissors, and a needle to weave in your ends. And here's a little tip. You only have to weave in your beginning circle and the very last from working our border. The rest of it we hide inside. All right, get your guys' supplies together and let's get started. Okay, so to get started, we are going to get a slip knot on our hook. All right, and we're going to start with a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back down to that first chain, and we're going to slip stitch into there to form a little ring. And I always like to wiggle my fingers in there so I can keep a hold of the ring. And chain 1. Now I'm going to take this tail and pull it tight so it closes down that chain that we slip stitched into. Alrighty, now we are going to work 14 double crochet into our ring. And I'm going to work over my tail. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all 14, so I'm going to get my 14 done and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. You guys won't notice this, but I had like 5 things happen after I stopped the first part of that this video, because you guys won't notice it, but geez. All right, so I have ink on my hand. Hold on. Good enough. All right, I have my 14 double crochets. So I'm going to slip stitch right into the top of that first double right there. I'm going to slip stitch right into there. Now I am going to be changing color every round, but if you're not, just go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to, if I can get my words out today, you are going to start round 2 just like I'm getting ready to, okay? But if you're going to change color like me, chain 1, pull up a little bit of a loop so you have enough to weave in, and cut. Okay. So now I am going to go ahead and pull that center tail. I'm just going to weave it in while I have you guys here. Get this done real quick. I'm just going to continue the going around the way the tail has already gone around. Pull it till it closes and skip a strand or 2 and go back the opposite direction. Pull it and cut. All right, I'm going to go ahead and weave this one in while I'm at it. Come through here and just go through there. Nothing too fancy. Okay, so there is round 1. Now if you changed colors, you are going to get your next color and get a slip knot on your hook with enough tail to weave in. All right, and into a double crochet opposite of where you slip stitch. So right there's my slip stitch and my chain 1. I'm going to come to the opposite side and attach with a slip stitch. There's my slip stitch, chain 1, and for round 2 we are working 2 double crochet into each double all the way around. So if you didn't fasten off, slip stitch to your first double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet into that same double crochet that you slip stitched into, and then 2 into each. And if you are changing color like me, attach with the slip stitch, chain 1, 2 double into each double all the way around. All right, I'm not going to make you guys watch me do this, so work 2 double all the way around, and I'll meet you when I make it all the way around. All right, I wanted to jump back on here real quick and show you that for those of you that are changing color, when you're working into the double crochet that you slip stitched into, if you look, what you're going to see is it's going to be a little bit of a mess like this. Honestly, it looks like 2 double crochet right there, right? But what that actually is the slip stitch, the chain 1, the slip stitch into the top of that double crochet. Right here is that, and then the chain 1, pull it tight to the back. But what you do, if you take your fingernail and set it on top of that slip stitch that's at the top of that double, and just slide it over a little bit, you see it move, and turn your work, don't pay attention on the cut on my finger, right there is the top of the double crochet that you need to work into, okay? So we're just going to skip this little knot right there and go right into the next. So just like that. And then go ahead and continue. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I repeated that all the way around. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of my first double crochet. So if you look, there's your slip stitch, there's your chain 1, there's the top of my first double, and I'm going to slip stitch into there. And again, if you're not changing colors, so just slip stitch to your first double, chain 1, and then hold on just a second. But if you're going to change color like me, I'm going to chain 1, pull up a loop, make sure it's long enough to weave in, and cut. Now I am going to, for the rest of my tails, I'm going to leave them because I'm going to show you guys what we are going to do just to kind of cheat a little bit. All right, so grab your next color and get a slip knot on your hook. Make sure you have plenty of tail to weave in. All right, now same as last time, I'm not going to attach anywhere around this I'm not going to attach anywhere by this slip knot. Slip stitch, what is my problem? I'm going to come to a different end and I'm going to attach anywhere. All right. There's my slip stitch and chain 1. And I'm going to pull that tail tight. Okay, now if you didn't change color, here's where you follow along. We are going to work 2 double crochet back into the double that we just attached into or slip stitched into. Right back in there with 2 double. That overlap, there it went. Okay, so now we are going to work a front post double crochet into around, I should say, the next double. So here's the double that I worked into. Here's my next double. So I'm going to yarn over, pull it forward, and work a double crochet around it. And now my next double, I'm going to work 2 double crochet into it. So if you have a hard time seeing this double, what I want you to do is separate these a little bit, just like that, until you can fully see that double crochet. And then always, 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 at the top right of the post of your double is always the top of your double crochet, the hole that you're going to be working into under, you know, the 2 loops that you work into. If you always look up the post and slightly to the right is going to be where you work into. All right, so there's my 2 double. Okay, so now I find the post on my next double, and there's where I'm going to front post. And now it's all kind of bunched up, right? So if I grab the post that I worked around, not the next double crochet, but the next, grab that, and then just kind of pull it apart and look. Go from the post slightly to the right is the top of that stitch. And there's where I'm going to work my 2 double. All right, so that's the post that the post of the double I worked into. So now I pull it apart. There's the next double. I'm going to front post around. And then separate that a little bit and look. There's the post. There's the top of the next double that I need to work into. All right, so we work 2 double, front post around the next. 2 double into the next. front post around the next. Now look, 2 double into the next. And then for those of you that change color, or well, yeah, those of you that change color, what we're looking at here is, again, pull that apart if you need to. Here is the slip stitch, chain 1, the top of the double that we slip stitched into, and right there is our slip stitch and our chain 1. So we just worked our 2 doubles, so we are going to front post around this one. If that's the way yours came out, if not, then you just work the 2 double crochet into the top. Slide that slip stitch over, right there's the top of your stitch, just work the 2 double crochet into the top. But for the front post, we are going to front post around the double crochet only. We're not going to mess with that chain 1 that's at the side. We're just going to front post right around there. Find our next double, there's the top of it, and we work our 2 double. Front post around the next double. Two double into the next double. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys finish that all the way around, and if it warps up like this a little bit, don't worry about that. All we are going to do is give these posts a bit of a tug, and they lay right back down. See? All right, so go ahead and repeat that around, and I will meet you when I get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm back and I've repeated that around, and you should have 42 double crochet, and I ended with a front post, and now I'm going to slip stitch to my first double, just right there, chain 1, pull up a loop. If you're not changing color, then just hold on just a second and I'll show you guys what we're going to do. So I am going to go back to my green, get a slip knot on my hook, make sure you have enough tail to weave in, and I'm going to go opposite end of where I just slip stitched. So I'm just going to go straight across, and from now on, every time if you change color and you're reattaching, always attach to the left of your front post, the double crochet right next to the left of your front post double, okay, from now on. So right here's a front post, so I'm going to attach right into the double crochet to the left of that front post. Chain 1, and right back into that double we're going to work 2 double. All right, now we're going to work 1 double into the next double crochet. And now we front post around the front post, which is pretty easy to see, it's sticking out. Okay, now find the top of that next double, and we're going to work 2 double into that. Double crochet into the next double. Front post around the front post double. 2 double into the very next double. Double into that next double. Front post around the next front post. Get down there. 2 double into the next double. Double into the next double. Front post around the next front post. All right, so go ahead and repeat that all the way around, and once again you may need to give your front post a bit of a tug so it lays right, and I'll be right back. All right, I repeated that all the way around, and you should have 56 double crochet. So ooh, got a hair. So the an easy way to do your stitch count is to just go from your post, and you should have, get out of the way, you should have 4. Post, 4. Including the post, 4. including the post 4. So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 4 stitches for each front post. 14 times 4 is 56. But so all you got to do is just hold, see your increase 2, increase 2. Okay, so anyway, I am going to change colors now. So I finished my round with a front post. I'm going to slip stitch to my first double crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, make sure it's long enough to weave in, cut, and I'm going to go to my orange. Oh, I got a knot. Ooh, excuse me, I didn't mean to just yawn right there. All right, I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. All right, now remember, anywhere to the left, what is the deal here? Anywhere to the left of any front post. I do want to stay away from where I started, so I'm going to come right here. And I'm going to go to the very next stitch to the left of my front post and attach with a slip stitch. I'm going to pull that tail so it tightens down that slip stitch, chain 1, and again we're going to work 2 double crochet right back into the double crochet that we just attached into. Just like that. 1, 2. And if you are not changing colors, you work the exact same thing. 2 double crochet into the very first double, or well, the same double crochet you slip stitched into, okay? And then we are going to double into the next 2 doubles. So 1, 2, and then we're going to front post around our front post. 2 double into the very next double, double into the next 2, front post around the next front post. All right, again, 2 double into the next double, double into the next 2 doubles, double or front post around the next front post. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around, all right? And you guys are going to have to pull on these front posts to get them to lay nice and pretty. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to work mine all the way around. Okay, I have repeated that around. And my last stitch is the front post. Slip stitch to my very first double crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. Tighten that. All right. So now you should have 14 times 5, 70 double crochet. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more round of double crochets, and I go back to my purple. I didn't realize it when I picked these colors out, but now that I'm making this, I realize this looks a lot like Halloween, which I'm not upset about. All right, so I'm going to go somewhere not close to where I just fastened off. So I'm going to come on the other side, and once again, right to the left of, I shouldn't say right. What I mean to say is to the very left of the front post, the first double crochet to the left of that front post, I'm going to attach with a slip stitch and chain 1. Tighten down that slip stitch. And as always, if you're not changing color, slip stitch to the first double, chain 1, and follow the exact same pattern. We're going to work 2 double crochet into the same double that we just slip stitched or attached into. Double into the next 3 double. Front post around the next front post. Two double into the very next double crochet. Double into the next 3 double. Front post around the next front post. And there you go. That's what you're going to repeat all the way around. 2 double into the very next double crochet, double into the next 3, front post around the front post double crochet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys to it and let you repeat that around, and I'll meet you when I've made it all the way around. Okay, so I've repeated that around, and now I am going to slip stitch to the first double crochet, chain 1, pull up a loop, and I'm going to cut. Well, okay. So now you should have 84 double crochet. Okay, so for the last round, I am going to go back to my green. I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to attach anywhere. We don't have to attach to the left of our front post. We can go wherever we want to. So I'm going to go right in here. And what I'm going to work is a chain 1, and I'm going to go right back in there with a single crochet. And I'm going to single crochet into each double until my front post. Now my front post, I'm going to work a little front post single around it, and then single into each double until my next front post. Work a little front post single, single into the next double. What I was going to say was that you don't have to work that little front post single crochet if you don't want to. I'm just doing it to add a little bit of show to it. Like these, I didn't work a front post single crochet on those, like right here. You don't have to, but all right, so I am going to single into each double and front post around each of the little front posts all the way around, and I will meet you when I get back to the beginning. Okay, so I have repeated that around. I have 2 more to single crochet into, and I'm going to slip stitch to that first single right here. There we go. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and cut. And give all these a little bit of a tug. All right. Pull that out. And now I'm going to show you guys the little trick about weaving in our ends, or lack thereof. So the first two I do want you to weave in, just so we get that hole closed in the middle, and just get rid of that other green tail. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our two purple that are right next to each other and just tie them in a knot. And then bring your two tails together. Give it a little bit of slack and cut. Because when we lay our two pieces together and finish our little hot pad, all those ends are on the inside and you can't see them. That's what I did on this one. Alright, so now I'm just going to go through here and tie all these two strands together. Just like this. Wrong, wrong end. Now even the two ends on this last color change, I'm going to do the same thing. Just like that. And this purple, tighten that down. Okay, so there is our first little piece, our first panel, I should say. So go ahead and repeat everything we just did for the second panel, okay? So get your second panel made, get all those ends tied like I showed you guys, and then once we start working the outside edge, all those ends are going to be hidden on the inside, and you'll never know they're there. All right, so get your second panel made and come back here, and we are going to finish this little hot pad up. Okay guys, so once you get your second panel made, we are going to lay our two panels together, wrong sides together. So the back of our work is going to be right on top of each other. All right. Now what I want to do is line up, if you can see, I want to line up the single crochet that we slip stitched into on one panel with the single crochet that we slip stitched into on another panel together. And that's how we're going to start. All right, so first I'm going to start with my orange, right? Green, orange, purple, green, orange, purple, green. Yep. I'm going to start with my orange. So I'm going to get a slip knot on my hook. Make sure you got enough tail. We are actually going to weave in these tails, unless you want to make a hanger. I don't know. Anyway, get a slip knot on your hook. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find on this piece, this panel, the single crochet we slip stitched into, which is right here. So I'm going to insert my hook on this one, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Find it, and then I'm going to insert my hook into the top. And what we're going to do is work a slip stitch through both panels. But we're going to try to not do what I just did. I want all of my strands. There we go. All right, now slip stitch. And I'm going to pull that tail tight. And now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip the next single on each panel. So here is my next single, and here's my next single, and then through the next on both panel I'm going to work a slip stitch. Chain 4. Skip, slip stitch into the next singles, chain 4, skip the next, slip stitch into the next 2, chain 4, skip and into the next, slip stitch and chain 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's what I want you guys to repeat all the way around. And as you're going, make sure you got those ends, get out of there, those ends to the inside. All right, okay, so I am going to continue with skipping and slip stitching into the next set, chain 4, skip, slip stitch, chain 4. All right, so repeat that around and I will meet you when we get back to the beginning. Okay. All right, so I repeated that around, and I do want to apologize, guys. I forgot I took that rubber band. For Pete's sake. I forgot I took that Band-Aid off, so I'm sorry. That was probably gross, but anyway. All right, so I repeated the slip stitch and chain 4 all the way around, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42 chain 4s. All right, and to end, we're just going to slip stitch to that first chain 4. Chain 1 and pull up a loop. Oh, there they are. Okay, cut. And now I am going to go to my purple. So I'm going to get a purple, or get the purple, get a slip knot on my hook. And now I want to work on the opposite side of my hot pad. So flip your hot pad over so that the chains you just made are facing away from you. And into any, actually I'm going to go on the opposite side. Into any of the remaining singles, we are going to go straight through both singles and push your orange or whatever color chain to the back of your hook, and then we're going to slip stitch and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now what we're going to be doing is basing our, basing the placement of the previous round's chains. How you start is what we're going to work the rest of the way around. So if you pushed yours to the back like I just did, this chain is now to the back. So now we need the next chain to be to the front. So what we're going to do is push the chain to the front, and then we're going to pull it down, and we're going to find the single crochet on each of the panels, and then we're going to work our slip stitch. Chain 4. All right, so we have back, front. So now we need back. So this time we'll just push it to the back, find our 2 singles. Sometimes they're a little hard to find. And then work your slip stitch. Chain 4, 3, 4. So we have back, front, back. Now we need to the front, so we're just going to lay it down to the front and work our slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, we have back, front, back, front. So now we need back, so we're just going to lay it to the back, find both of your singles and slip stitch. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what creates that weave look. So if you look at it like this, so on this side the orange is to the front, and on this side the purple is to the purple chains are facing forward. All right, so I'm going to keep going on with this, showing you guys the front and back. All right, so we have the oranges to the back, so this one needs to come to the front. So lay it all the way down, go through the first set of single and the second, and slip stitch, 2, 3, 4, chain 4. So there's a front, so now we go to the back and find these 2 singles and these 2 singles, or these 2, you know what I meant. Sorry. Slip stitch and chain 4. All right, so we have to the back. Now this one comes to the front, and we are going to go through our 2 singles, this one, and slip stitch, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's to the front, so this one goes to the back, and we find this single and this single, slip stitch, chain 4. All right, so repeat that around. I think you guys got the hang of it. If you don't, just rewind it a little bit, and I will meet you when I get back to where I started. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have made that all the way around, and if you don't come out exactly even or right, don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. But what I am going to do is, this is to the front, so I'm going to come, so this one is to the back, and I'm going to slip stitch into this first chain. Now, if you want to make this a hanger, or not specifically just a hanger, but if you want to add a little hanging piece, go ahead and chain about 10 to 12 maybe, and then just come back down and slip stitch where you slip stitched again. But I'm going to chain 1 and pull up a loop and cut, and we are done. I'm going to weave in my ends later, but that is our little hot pad. Isn't it cute? And it's super thick. And what another thing I think is really cool is if you take these and you let them, because what they do kind of warp a little bit, but once you put the hot pad on them, or the hot pod on them, it gets rid of that warp. And I mean, honestly, just laying them down, the little warp comes out of it. However, the warp is really, really pretty if you let it just twist a little and then hang it and then watch it spin. It's really cool. Oh, and then you could attach another one at the bottom, and then when they spin together, that would be cool. Okay, sorry. All right, guys, that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Hit that thumbs up if you did, and subscribe. And then once you subscribe, click the little down arrow next to the subscribe, and then click all so you get a notification for all of my posts. And check out my description box. I got links to all kinds of goodies down there for you guys to scope out. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about my little hot pad. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.